Jimmy Johnson. Row 6, Jimmy Alanya and Joey Logano. Row 7, Matt Kenseth and Kyle Larson. In row 8, we have Chase Elliott and Clint Boyer. Row 9, Martin Truex Jr. and Gino Harvey. In row 10, Carter Adelman and AJ Allmendinger. Row 11, Jamie McMurray and Jeff Gordon. Row 12, Logan McDaniel and Kurt Busch. In row 13 today, Denny Hamlin and Casey Kane. In row 14, we have Brad Keselowski and Austin Dillon. In row 15, Landon Castle and Ryan Blaney. And then Paul Menard and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in row 16. Row 17, Eddie Jones and Josh Wise in the Tide Ford Fusion. And then Danica Patrick and Greg Biffle round up row 18. In row 19, we have David Reagan and Jeb Burton. And then ending up the field is Michael Nett and Sam Hornish Jr. in row 20. Round 3 is underway. Green flag here at Rockingham. Carl Edwards gets a great jump on the field as he beats Kevin Harvick to the line. Ryan Newman jumps into the second position. Now we got 3 wide for the third position between Junior, Bain, and Harvick. Looks like Harvick's going to try and come out on top, but Carl Edwards will lead the first lap after getting ahead on that initial start to the race. And it looks like NASCAR is calling Carl Edwards to pit lane for jumping the restart. Carl Edwards hits pit road this time. We're going to check that out once again as Edwards hits pit lane. And yes, he does beat Kevin Harvick to the line. That is disastrous for Carl Edwards. Major chase implications here for Carl Edwards as Kevin Harvick now finds himself in the second position behind race leader Ryan Newman. Ryan Newman leading some of his first laps this year. It's good to see a new driver out front here in the Athletic Cup Series. Let's hope Ryan Newman can pull it off today as he rides out front here on lap 5 out of 10. And it looks like Harvick gets loose and into the wall hard. Kevin Harvick just smacked the wall really hard as he looks like he tries to get a good line going into turn 1 and 2. And Harvick looks like he just clips the apron here. Right there, he clips the apron, gets loose, cannot save it, and he goes hard into the wall. Major impact for Kevin Harvick as now he faces the hole in his chase hopes for Kevin Harvick. Green flag is back out. Ryan Newman jumps to the race lead over second place, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Down the backstretch they go. Tony Stewart jumping into third. Oh, we got a crash! It's Eric Almirola. Jimmy Johnson, the chase contender. Looks like Chase Elliott was involved as well. My goodness, a 3-car crash down the backstretch. Eric and Chase are able to drive back. Watch as Eric Almirola gets turned by Johnson. Johnson goes down. Oh, and back up into Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson looks to have damage there. Jimmy Johnson is going to need a lot of work in these next 2 races. And Kyle Larson, as we said, has damage as well. Watch as Johnson comes right back up in front of the field and makes contact with Larson. Larson had to come down pit road. That is big. 3 chasers having big problems today. Actually 4 with Carl Edwards. Green flag is back out. Ryan Newman jumps to the race lead once again as Tony Stewart going to go around the outside with 4 laps to go. Stewart's going to try and take the lead, but here comes Kyle Busch making it sketchy. Goes 3 wide for the race lead. He takes it coming to 3 to go. Kyle Busch and Ryan Newman make contact down into turn 1 and 2. Kyle Busch is going to try and dive bomb the corner here. He gets into Newman. Newman gets loose. They spin in front of the chasers. Nobody gets involved, just Kyle Busch and Ryan Newman. Watch as Kyle Busch makes it 3 wide here. I think this might have irritated Ryan Newman a little bit. It's like, come on, dude. Let's race hard here, but not that hard. Newman forces Busch up into the wall, it looks like here. Or maybe Newman just tried to drive it in too hard, and then Kyle Busch drives it in really deep here. Probably going to use a little brake there. Oh, but Ryan Newman and Kyle Busch make contact. Newman hard into the inside wall. Kyle Busch really did a good job of saving that race car. Joey Logano did a good job of slowing up as well, along with Trevor Bayne and Dale Earnhardt Jr. We've had enough chase problems here. Big restart with 2 to go. Green flag is in the air. Tony Stewart and Joey Logano lead him to the line. Trevor Bayne goes to the inside of Joey Logano. He's now in the 2nd position. Matt Kenseth up to 3rd, passing his rival Joey. Trevor Bayne getting a good run off of turn 4. Here comes Trevor Bayne to the race lead over Tony Stewart. Into turn 1 and 2 they go. Off of 2 for the final time. Trevor Bayne's lead is growing over 2nd place Tony Stewart. Matt Kenseth is going to go for 2nd. That's going to slow him up. Nobody's going to beat Trevor Bayne today as he wins at Rockingham and captures the big victory that will launch him in to the Aflac Cup Series finale at Colon, Michigan. What a race here as Trevor Bayne takes victory. As Kyle Busch rounds up the field. Trevor Bayne celebrating in Rockingham. Boy, does he deserve to celebrate that one. What a pass for the win from Trevor Bayne. We're going to check that out right now as he gets the pass over Tony Stewart in turn 3 and 4. Off of turn 4, gets a swing of momentum running that high line. And Tony Stewart loses the lead, loses clean air, and Bayne rockets to the win. Bayne and his team celebrate in victory lane for the 2nd time this year. Now we're going to check out your chase point standings. Trevor Bayne, Joey Logano, Martin Truex Jr., and Dale Jr. all above that all-important cut line. Carl Edwards with a pit penalty today. Falls 10 points behind Dale Jr. Kyle Larson had problems. So did Jimmy Johnson and Kevin Harvick. Those 3 have major points to pick up. Carl Edwards is doable because it's only 10 points. Now here's the rest of your chasers. Jeff Gordon's leading that pack there, the ones that have been eliminated. Kyle Busch sits around 12th, I think. Kurt Busch, Matt Kenseth gaining a lot of points lately. He's catching Kurt Busch for that 17th position. And then 27th is Ryan Newman, who had a strong run today but ended up getting crashed by Kyle Busch. And I'm sure those two will see each other again. And that might not be pretty for Kyle Busch, if you ask me, knowing Newman's past. Because he'll do anything if he feels like he's been wronged. So now we're going to check out your finishing results. As a big win today for Trevor Bayne as he launches himself into the final round in the Aflac Cup Series Season 7 chase. 2nd place was a strong run today for Matt Kenseth. 3rd is Tony Stewart getting a nice top 5 in his final season in the Aflac Cup Series. Joey Logano and Martin Truex Jr. round up the top 5. Dale Jr. finishes 6th today. Not a bad run for a junior who probably could have won this race, but he just didn't have the speed to do so. Jeff Gordon comes up 7th. Bryce Harvey 8th. And then Clint Boyer with a nice top 10 finish today, finishing 9th. A.J. Allmendinger rounds up a nice top 10 as well for him, finishing 10th. Gino Harvick just outside the top 10, repping the Jeff Gordon colors this weekend. Jimmy Lania finishes 12th. 13th today was Jamie McMurray. And then 14th was Logan McDaniel with a nice top 15 for that underfunded team. 15th today was Carter Adelman, who got eliminated last week. Sadly, led most of the laps. Kurt Busch finishes 16th. And then Carl Edwards, who had the pit penalty today, finishes 17th. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 18th position. Casey Kane finishes 19th. And then rounding up the top 20 was Brad Keselowski. 21st today was Denny Hamlin. And 22nd, Austin Dillon. 23rd today was Eddie Jones. And 24th was Greg Biffle. Coming home 25th was Landon Castle in the Stars and Stripes paint scheme. And then 26th was Paul Menard. 27th, Ryan Blaney, who hasn't really had the best year this year. Very disappointing. Kyle Larson finishes 28th. That's where he finished up today. Very disappointing run for him. I bet he was wishing he'd have this race back because he's going to have to make up a lot of points if you're the 42 of Kyle Larson. 32nd today was Sam Hornish Jr. And the 33rd was Danica Patrick. Finishing 34th today was Michael Annett. And Kyle Busch comes home 35th after the damage involved with that crash with that guy, Ryan Newman. finishes 36th today. 37th was Jimmy Johnson. And then 38th, Chase Elliott. 39th today was Eric Almirola. And then rounding up the field in 40th, tough day for Kevin Harvick, who had a really strong car, wrecked while running second. Next race, we go back to Riverhead for a nice run there, 15 laps. It'll be fun. This is JT24, JM26, signing out.